Thank you for joining us on today's edition of the program You're in Your Health and on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Today, we'll be looking at another theme, and that theme is combating hypertension. Hypertension is one of the leading risk factors of cardiovascular disease worldwide. While the prevalence of hypertension is currently declining in developed countries, but that's another case when we talk about low income and middle income countries, including Cameroon, which is still faced with a higher prevalence rate with higher prevalence rates and relatively high number of cases. Efforts to reverse the trend in low-income countries are being hampered by limited awareness, inadequate treatment, and of course, slow control rates. Today, we'll be talking everything that can result to hypertension and how we can better fight against this disease. But that will be after the short break. Stay with us. As you always know, I always look out for a best specialist, someone who can edify you about the main thing we were talking about. And today in the studio, I have a cardiologist right here in Douala, precisely at the Padre Pio Hospital. He's called Dr. Gabriel Tancho. Good day, Doctor. It is a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much, Immaculate.
Today we are talking about something that I can say about over 10% of the Cameroonian population are suffering with, and that is hypertension, especially those of a certain age, which is those above, from what I noticed, above 40 years are the most affected by hypertension. So tell us, what does it mean to be hypertensive?
Immaculate, let me again start with statistics. I'm thinking that the statistic that you are giving really is probably is biased a bit, because probably these are statistics from it's above from that range. For that range, from 40 till 55, one third of the population is really in urban areas precisely is hypertensive.
Wow.
Meaning that there are many cases and undiagnosed cases. Wow. That's why it's so important, very, very important, to really inform the population, to sensitize the population about that disease, sometimes that is silent. Many people, they know that they're having hypertension when they're having stroke. If you go probably to La Quintini, to Saint Padre Pio, to General Hospital, in all hospitals in general, the majority of people that are coming there with stroke is that they are having hypertension and they were not aware that they were having.
So you say this 10%?
Meaning that is one of the complications of hypertension already.
So you say this 10% is just because many cases are undiagnosed?
Definitely,
okay.
definitely.
So
definitely. And what is hypertension? You know, blood circulates in the body or in the vessels. The vessels are like pipes with a particular force. And it's that force that, when it's measured by a particular machine, is called the pressure or the blood pressure. And when it's above a particular level, we can say that you are hypertensive. When they're taking that pressure of blood through the pipes, when it's above 139, the systolic, and 89, the diastolic, you are hypertensive. And this is a classification that was given to us by the WHO, and this is what we are practicing in our on daily basis. When your blood pressure is a particular, that level is having that level, you should come to consult, or you should come for more, to inquire more tests or more education concerning yourself.
You talked about the particular level. So what is the normal level now?
The normal level is the systolic. You know that when they are taking the blood pressure or the force of blood in the pipes, there are two readings, or there are two figures that are coming out when they are taking it. The first figure is when blood in the systolic, is when blood is pumped from the heart. Yes, that one is a figure, and it should not be more than 139 millimeters of mercury. Not more than 139. And there's a diastolic blood pressure when the heart is at rest. That should not be more than 89. Meaning that if your blood pressure is something like 150 on 100, you are really hypertensive, or you should come for further test for a consultation for us to see what is going on. Because it's really, the diagnosis of hypertension sometimes can be a bit complicated and difficult in some cases. Because if somebody has died in your family and you are stressed up and you are upset and you are not sleeping well, your blood pressure can go up because of stress.
So those are already the causes.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It can go up because, and in some people, it comes down later when everything is stable, when you forgot about, or you are on the way, you are forgetting things and you are consoled, your blood pressure can go down. Or people in the night, you have been dancing or shouting, and the next day, your blood pressure can be high. Or people in the night that are coughing, like that's are people that we receive. The blood pressure was not high, and because he had a sleepless night, the blood pressure can go up. Can go
Okay,
up.
so
That's why these are details that the doctor or the person consulting the patient should take into consideration when really is consulting to really pick up what is necessary and to put on the correct diagnosis.
So, doctor, are you trying to say we shouldn't be happy, like express our emotions? Like, if my family, somebody that is close to me dies, it's normal for me to cry. Is there a way of controlling that?
No, it should be lively, yes. And a lively person is someone that people like and people really go to. Uh, and again, it's not meaning that when you are lively, your blood pressure is up or your blood
Okay.
pressure is high.
Okay.
No. You can be lively and your blood pressure is good. It's
Okay.
okay. Yes.
I see.
If it is high, it's a problem. Yes, and I just brought some examples to make sure that we understand what is hypertension, what is the diagnosis. When a patient is coming and you are putting down the diagnosis, hypertension, yes, that one is very, very important, and you should be careful. We doctors, we should be careful when you're putting on that diagnosis because it implies or implicates many things.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, can a child be hypertensive?
Yes, a child can be hypertensive. That's why cardiovascular diseases are not only adults, in children too. And in children precisely is secondary hypertension. You see, there's hypertension that is due to at a particular time in life, or you are stressed up, as we said,
Yeah.
or because of changes in in the vessels that are becoming stiffer, because of changes in the hormones of your body, it goes up itself. But in children, it's secondary. Due to what? Due to some problems with the vessels, because blood also, the blood pressure, blood passes in vessels, and is that force of blood really that is, let us say, registered like hypertension. If a patient is having, a child is having coarctation, this is a condition called coarctation of the aorta. Yes, that one can have hypertension. And children with kidney disease, it can be cyst. There are there are children that are born with many cysts in the kidneys. Yes, those one also can have hypertension, and also kidney problems. There are some hormones that are regulating the blood pressure that really are produced by kidneys. Sometimes it can be a problem with that the production of those hormones, and those children can have hypertension.
So,
not only that, also in the brain, there's the hypophysis that can also be involved in that disease when it's getting bigger.
when we are talking about children and we are talking about adults, are the manifestations the same when we are talking about, talk about the symptoms?
About the symptoms, in children and in adults, it's more like they're having more symptoms than children. Why? Children usually are more persistent. Children, the system is developing. It will take more time for a child to have complication than an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's like a tissue that is flexible, a tissue that is growing, a tissue that is having enough material to grow. And in adults, everything's already there for long. After 25 years, you are not growing up anymore. You are there. Yes, and things are becoming, let us say, stiffer, are becoming breakable, are becoming. There is more like you can develop more symptoms than children.
Okay, doctor, I want to know something. In case there is this young girl or young man who is not sick, who has no symptoms, is there a need for him to check his blood pressure?
Definitely, of course. It's not because you're having symptoms that we should check the blood pressure. Yes, once a month, I don't know, out of curiosity, you should just go and check your blood pressure. We don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
Yes, it's important. And what is again bad in that is the African population, probably Cameroonian population, they develop hypertension earlier, very early. Their case is 30 years old, 25 years old, that are having high readings of the blood pressure, very high readings of the blood pressure. And you check, you see that really is essential hypertension. The secondary to a particular problem is essential hypertension. And that's why really the whole population of Cameroon really is invited to that type of activity or exercise. Sometimes just go to the pharmacy and ask them to take your blood pressure. Yes, and sometimes there are some children that pass along the road. I trust that the machines that they are taking, that they are using are good. Yes, because they can take your blood pressure and they will tell you that it's too high or low. Meanwhile, it's not the case because the machine is not a good one.
Okay.
Yes, if the machine is good, in that case, please permit them to take your blood pressure and let's see.
For those who are just joining us, then know you're watching. For those on TV and listening to the program, You and Your Health on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia, and we are talking about how to combat hypertension. And to participate in the program, you can call the following numbers: 670 5470 49. I repeat, 670 547049 or 656 622222. Those are the two numbers which you can call and ask your questions concerning hypertension. And I have with me here a cardiologist who is here to give you answers to all what has been disturbing you as far as hypertension is concerned. Back to you, Dr. Cabral. Now, let's talk about testing, knowing our blood pressure. For a hypertensive patient, how long should that person do it? How often?
Hypertensive case, if really a hypertensive, definitely they will say follow up that should be very strict and you should be serious with your medication and with your treatment. If you're hypertensive when you're coming to see the doctor, of course, there is a series of tests that you should go. They should evaluate your system and see the baseline data that he's having, because the follow-up is, and again, when I mention about hypertension, the diagnosis of hypertension, I'm saying it implicates so many things, because hypertension is a disease of life. If you are hypertensive, you should take your medication for life. And not only that, you should be coming regularly for follow-up, for checkup. Why? Because the first day, all people that are coming, the majority of people, the blood pressure is too high. Yes. And we'll be prescribing medications. And when we are prescribing and we are taking the medication, the blood pressure is going down. And we should, the next time when we are coming, we should prescribe accordingly, according to the blood pressure that you are having at that moment. That is different from the first time when you came. That's why it's very, very important for patients that are having hypertension to follow up strictly that rendezvous that they are giving to hospitals, the follow-up that the doctor is giving. It's not for fancy, or it's not that he wants to take money from you. No, he wants you to be fine. He wants you to be better. And not only that, there can be other problems coming in. Yes, there can be diabetes can come in. There are medication that can bring side effects, like a group of medication that can make your lower limbs to swell. You should come and present those problems. There are some medication, the side effect can be cough. You can come and present all those things. And if you're having other worries, because again, in our setting, hypertension is combined with many other problems. You should present all those problems to your doctor, yes, and he will help you. You're at the correct place.
Doctor, we have a lot of workers in Cameroon who always complain about stress with work. Let's say for women, stress with children, stress of taking care of their houses, and it's really difficult. How can stress really higher someone's blood pressure?
Yes, stress in our system is really making our life too difficult.
Exactly.
Yes, when you talk about 2023 has come with so many things.
Things are very expensive. You can't cope. You're thinking of what you cook for your children the next day. The money is not even enough, and it's normal for you to stress.
Actually. Stress contributes. Why? Because when you are stressed up, there are some hormones, biologically active substances in your body that are produced by some organs. Those hormones, they just there's overproduction of those hormones, and that is what is making the blood pressure to go high, to go up. Unfortunately,
There's no way of managing it.
No way of managing it.
You just stop worrying. That's it.
Yes, that's it.
But
You go to
it's
church,
difficult.
you sing,
You pray.
I don't know, you pray.
But it's difficult because with our situation, we know how life is so hard for some people.
Yes.
And when you think about your problems, it's normal for you to stress.
Yes.
But now, as you said, we should pray, right?
We should pray.
Okay,
Pray.
we'll pray.
Yeah.
And now, for hypertensive patients, can they carry out physical exercise?
Physical exercises are very, very recommended in patients that are having hypertension, because only the physical exercise, if you are doing it as is recommended, the exercise itself can make your blood pressure to drop itself.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's why it's very recommended. But if your blood pressure should be stable. If you're having a very high blood pressure, you're having headache, you're having palpitation, you're having so many worries, please
avoid it.
Okay. Avoid it. These are things that usually should be taken or should be decided personally. Why? Because I'm saying that every single person should do it. Yes, it is written somewhere, but in our practice, we see some cases that are hypertensive, but physical exercise is contraindicated. Like a patient that is coming and the heart rate is probably 120 at rest. And it really, what again surprising is not feeling anything. It's when you are doing the test, you see that the heart rate is high. And that one cannot do exercise. Because when you do exercise, it goes higher. And if when you are on rest, it's so high, you can collapse.
Okay.
And there are some other ones when the heart rate is too slow. And sometimes they need a pacemaker. You cannot ask a patient that is in need of pacemaker to do exercise. You see, that's why, there are some types of details that are important to solve or to talk with the person in front of you. That's why, yes, and there are some patients too that are hypertensive and present dizziness. You cannot ask someone that is having dizziness to go for
go for a run.
Yes. Meanwhile, it is really, yes, when I'm having health talk, I said it. Hypertensive patients should do exercises. And it's written everywhere like recommendations for hypertensive patients. But in that group,
there is a but.
Yes, there's a but. And that's why, again, if you hear I still remember a patient that I'm following up, and he's really obese. And I told him that really obesity is not good and he should do everything to reduce his weight. He told me, and exercise can contribute. He told me, I lost two friends, two tight friends. They went for physical exercise and they didn't come back. They died.
Gee.
You
see that's
traumatizing.
Exactly.
You see, and it's like, okay, they heard that you should do exercise, and probably they were having palpitation or I don't know, a different type of condition, and they went for exercise, and something happened.
I see.
That's why, yes, you should do, but
know your status at that moment.
Actually,
our technician is already telling me that our time is up, and that's where we'll be ending today's edition of the program You're on Your Health aired on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. I had as guest a cardiologist, Dr. Carol Tanchu, and for presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. I received technical assistance from Raphael Dipanda. Have a lovely day in the company of more programs on Equinoxe Radio and, of course, television. So long.